Hi, happy Friday, and welcome to 30 Minutes of Wisdom, Rising Consciousness and Mindfulness. My name is Daniela Mattos, and I'm one of Veronica Wisdom speakers, and I am here today to talk to you about a lot of things and hopefully get you moving towards the end of our talk. One of the things that we are doing in this show is that once a week I will be popping in and caring really like we're going to be talking all those other weeks, but once a month, we're going to actually embody this change. I'm going to give you tools that you can use in your everyday to embody this mindfulness, to raise in consciousness, right? Because it's so important in a very busy day to have the tools that bring you back to balance. So let me just, for those that have not met me yet, let me just give a little bit of my background. For over a decade, about 12 years, I worked in Wall Street. I worked at Bloomberg and I worked at JP Morgan as a sales trader. And my life was stressful to say the least. So I know how it is to be hours and hours and hours seated on the chair, watching the markets, making decisions, and having that adrenaline running in the veins, which for me, in my experience, it was all exciting and great until it became too much. So at some point in my life, which I detail more in my book, it became too much, and my body just couldn't handle it anymore. And keep in mind that I have always been an athlete. I have swum my entire life. I have been a competitive swimmer. And up to this day, I still practice at least 3 times a week, right? So I have always been active. So it wasn't the fact that I didn't move or didn't do any physical exercise, right? Because at first I always thought, oh, that was my release. And usually that helps up to a certain point. But in my experience, after the stress just going to the roof was no longer enough. And then I embarked in a journey where basically took me from working at JP Morgan to working now for myself teaching Kundalini Yoga. It really transformed because dealing with chronic pain, in my case, was my lower back. And I'm sure a lot of you can identify with that, because lower back pain is one of the top number 1 chronic pains, top numbers, maybe 5 or 3 of chronic pains. And it's very common nowadays, especially for people who stay seated for so long. But what I learned through my journey is there was a lot more about my mind rather than something structural being wrong with my body. And in this journey, trying to figure out what emotions was I carrying for so long, right? That it was so much. The energy of that mental stress was so heavy that my physical body start actually complaining, right? Start actually giving me symptoms about that. And I was actually just talking to a friend of mine, and she was saying how she's having some back pain. And one of the things I said is, pain is a symptom. Pain is just telling you that something is wrong, but you need to do the work to find the root of that problem, right? In my case, it was a lot of emotions, traumas that I didn't work for over 35 years of my life. And as I go revisit, the pain starts to decrease. So it was a great journey. It took me where I am right now. I no longer suffer of any back pain. And I recognize now when I am getting too stressed. And now that I learned Kundalini Yoga, I know what to do when that stress is getting a little too much. And nowadays, I would say that we're all going through that collectively, right? This amount of stress, like that we haven't seen before. And all those tools, Kundalini Yoga is very rich and is very prescriptive, which I think when I look at when I look at Kundalini Yoga, I find that to be perhaps the most useful characteristic of it, because it really, I have headache. Oh, I go over there in my books, in the resources I have, and I can put what meditation is good for headache. What meditation is good to relax the adrenal glands, which again has to do with stress. So it's very prescriptive. You can almost put it, oh, you're having XY problem? Let me give you this exercise or this meditation or this breathing exercise. And like that, you can really create your own practice depending on what you're going through. So for me, when I found out that about Kundalini Yoga, I was mesmerized. I was like, this is great. It's like never again I feel helpless, because I know I can always go back and look for an exercise, a sequence of exercises that can help me no matter what I am going through. So before I actually start the exercises we're going to do today, and I know you're sitting, perhaps you're still perhaps you're already in the office, it won't be anything too crazy. Kundalini Yoga actually has very simple poses. Is not it's not a yoga that will do many of those pretzels poses. It's a lot of breathing exercise and some movements, as you will see. But before we get there, let me also tell you why it's important to have those tools right now. Not only because we are living through so much stress, uncertainty, right? And uncertainty generally increases fear, but also because on Sunday, between Sunday and Monday, depending where you are on the globe, we're going to have what we call the solstice, right? And for most of my life, I never really cared much about the cycles of the planet, right? I wasn't a person who gave too much attention to that. I have a background, in fact, in biotechnology. I come from a family that has a lot of physicians and dentists, so a very skeptical mindset. That's how I grew up. However, as I lived my experience and my journey, right, trying to heal my body, I understood that part of my pain was not only the fact that I was carrying so much emotions and traumas inside and basically avoiding to deal with them, right? Avoiding to feel the emotions that certain situations that I had lived through brought it to me. I used to prefer to just not look at it, right? And keep going. So I learned that that was not a good idea, because my mind, in the subconscious of my mind, those topics, those traumas would be playing over and over and over. So I learned that. But the other thing I learned in Kundalini Yoga, and I talk in the book too, is that I was disconnected to the whole, disconnected to the collective, right? And when we talk about, let's look at the name of this show, Rising in Consciousness. We have our individual level of consciousness, but there is also the collective level of consciousness. And we are connected, either we want to be connected or not. We can choose to ignore, or we can actually acknowledge and work with that. And basically, important days like solstice and equinox, we learn at school. Oh, equinox, when the day and night are the same proportion. Oh, solstice, the longest day or the longest night, depending where you are. These things affect the vibration of planet Earth. And if we think actually very scientifically, we are all vibration, because we are all energy. The reason I feel physical, right? The pen, the telephone, whatever it is because the vibration is very low. And then that feels physical. anything that has a higher vibration feels more and more ethereal. But nevertheless, it is energy. So at those 4 dates during the year, the planet Earth acknowledges that there is a difference in the amount of prana, right, of life force, of sunlight that comes to the planet, and will act accordingly, right? We in yoga we see the planet Earth is like as a living being, and what does that mean? It means that at the individual level, at your level, at my level, at you working on a desk, at you going about on your day, we will be affected. So the tools I'm gonna share with you, and I'm going to start in a few minutes, is for you to obviously use whenever you want, but especially the upcoming days, right? Because Sunday at 11:32 p.m. it is the time of the solstice, is when officially it is, but between the 20th and 21st there will be very energetic days, because everything, it just doesn't pop in and pop out. It's like a progressive um, cycle, and it increases the energy. Like some people already feel the energy coming, and then it takes another few days to level up. Okay. So the first thing we do in a Kundalini Yoga practice, in a regular class, we chant a mantra to start. And the main reason we chant that is because we are connecting to our essence and saying, at this moment, I will listen to my essence rather than my mind. Because the mind is running the game almost 24/7. But when we sit to do the practice, we are just telling the mind to take the back seat and really just connect to our soul, which is connected to the collective consciousness, which is connected to the universe, right? So the mantra we chant regularly in Kundalini Yoga is Om Namo Gurudev Namo. I bow to the infinite wisdom within. You don't have to chant that if you don't want. You can just think of the translation, right? I bow to the infinite wisdom, which is your essence, right? But in some way, shape, or form, it's important to kind of create this affirmation to your soul and to your mind, to say that the places are going to be reversed now, because the mind was created in order to help us to navigate our reality. But when it comes to understand our traumas and understand our purpose, why are we here, there is a need of that connection to the soul. Okay? So just rub the palms of your hands and bring your hands in prayer pose together in front of your chest. Actually, this mudra, this hand position, already helps you to come to balance. Why? Because the pressure you do between both hands the hands, they correlate to different regions of the brain. That's the science of Kundalini Yoga. And when you bring them like this, you connecting and trying to balance both hemispheres of the brain, the creative side as well as the logical side. Especially in finance, my whole life, most of my life was always logical, right? So we want to create a balance. So that's why this mudra is so important at the beginning. So you can close your eyes and just inhale through the nose. And when you inhale, make sure you bring in the air all the way to the belly button, okay? Why bringing all the way down? Because shorter, shallow breath bring anxiety. And we are a society that lives in a shorter breath, that breathes very shallow. So we are all, like most people, are anxious just because, they're breathing so shallow. So when you inhale, make sure it goes until your belly button. When you exhale, the belly button goes towards the spine. Okay? So we're going to do 3 long, deep breaths. And I invite you to, if you can, stop working a little bit and just take those 3 deep breaths with me. And tell yourself in your mind that now is a time to connect to your essence and let the mind take the back seat. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time, inhale. And exhale. And stay in the position. And relax. Now, if you are on a chair, okay, that's okay. Put your hands on your thighs, okay? But if you are seated, if you can sit in cross-leg position, hold your ankles, okay, as the legs crossing. Hold your ankles. Because what we want to do, okay, we want to inhale and go forward, open the chest, exhale, go backward. And inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. This movement is called spinal flex. It's going to start helping the energy to flow. And one of the main reasons we have back pain is because the energy is stuck. It's not moving. And a simple exercise as this one, which you can do it in the chair, it will help this energy to flow. Okay? So let's do for just a minute. I like to mentally repeat a mantra. As I inhale, I mentally repeat Sat. As I exhale, I mentally repeat None. Sat, None. Okay? It can be any other mantra if you want. This one in particular means truth is my identity. The breath, the truth of your soul. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Open your eyes. All right. So we're going to do one more movement, okay? Hands on your shoulder, and you're going to twist it to the left. Inhale through the nose. Twist it to the right. Exhale through the nose. As simple as that. Your eyes are closed. And again, you're going to help to move that energy, okay? Which helps the pain to go away. And you do, of course, listen to your body, see how it feels, okay? Let's go. Inhale, come to center. Pause. Exhale. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna stand up if possible, do one more movement, and then we're gonna do a breathing exercise. So if you can stand up right now, I invite you to stand up. Oops, let me put the camera a little bit higher up. Okay, so the legs are a little bit wider than your hips, and your hands are gonna be, you see, flat like this, palms facing down. And all you're gonna do, you're gonna move your hips. And you move. And you can close your eyes and just feel the movement. This exercise is very good for the lower back. Make sure you're breathing long and deep. Feeling every part of your body as it moves. If there is anything that is a little painful, you stop, acknowledge that pain, and then you continue. The pain wants to be acknowledged. It's trying to tell you If something is bothering you, inhale and come to center. Exhale and relax. And you can come back and sit or cross-legged, however you want. And I'm sorry, my puppy was barking. Okay, so in those exercises, what is very important is to do the movement and connect the movement with the breath. Okay? As you move, you realize there is a pattern to the movement and the breath goes with it. Okay? And really, with your eyes closed, start to connecting to that movement, creating some body consciousness and awareness to the movement. Now, so one of the things we're gonna do is very simple, but yet very important, which is to acknowledge how the mechanism of breath is. So there is a very mechanical part of the breath, right? You inhale, exhale, your belly expands and your belly goes down. But there is also a very subtle part, which is the prana coming in and the prana going out, right? And in this awareness of the breath, you will start connecting more and more to it. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna just hold what we call Gyan Mudra, okay? Let it rest on your legs, okay? And you're gonna inhale, starting from your belly button, okay? You start from your belly button, and you inhale long and deep, and then you pause. Because the breath is not just inhale and exhale. The breath has this millisecond where there is an exchange, where you change from inhaling to exhale, there is this pause, this brief pause. So we're gonna inhale long and deep, pause, and exhale. We're gonna really do 1 minute, okay? So just close your eyes and inhale. Make sure your belly's out, your chest opens, and your clavicle goes up. Pause. You can mentally count on 3 until like 3. And then exhale, and you count again 1, 2, 3 as you exhale. Inhale on 3. Pause on 3. Exhale on 3. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. And continue doing that for a little bit more. Now inhale deep. Pause. Exhale. Open your eyes. In Kundalini Yoga, we have many, many different types of breaths, right? In the way we manage the breath. Learning how to breathe long and deep is essential. Perhaps the most important lesson yoga can teach you is breathing long and deep. And then I would say another pillar of Kundalini Yoga is what we call breath of fire. So I'm going to briefly teach you how to do it. It's a great breath for the upcoming days because it helps you to cleanse. And what this prana that we're going to get it in the solstice will do, it's going to come to your body and it's going to try to push it to cleanse whatever you have. So work with that energy, connect to that energy. I used to think, energy, whatever, right? That's how I used to think as well. All I can say is as the more you practice and connect to it, the more real becomes. Right? We have been trained, programmed to ignore it. But once we start connecting, we will see that it's everywhere. So what we're gonna do, so breath of fire is a cleansing breath, is a purifying breath. So it's good because if you have any stuck energy, breath of fire will try to cleanse it. It's going to try to move it. And the way to do it is a rapid, rhythmic, and continuous breath through the nose, and it's pumping the belly button. So I'm just going to share this with you. We're going to do for a minute. Then feel free to reach out if you have any questions. But it's a great tool to use it every day. Do 3 minutes of breath of fire every day, and you will see a big change in your surrounding and how you perceive it life. So left hand on your belly button, right hand, index finger right below your nose. And now do an exhale, very strong, pulling the navel in. You feel the air coming so strongly. And it's so strong that goes out that by the time you realize it's done, you already inhale very quickly. So you start like this just to understand the mechanics of breath of fire. But eventually you can just do Gya Mudra, close your eyes and do it. Make sure you're doing from the belly button, not from the chest. If you do from the chest, you may get dizzy, okay? So you don't want to get dizzy. You just want to eventually work with this breath to cleanse you, right? If you get dizzy, we stop and you do long, deep breathing. Okay, let's do another 30 seconds. Inhale, pause, exhale. This breath is really powerful, cleanses you, cleanses your bloodstream, cleanses your lung, unlock the energy that is stuck, especially on the first, the energy stuck on the lower part of your body. It helps you with anxiety, it might give you, if you like 2 anxious and you have never done anything, it might make you a little bit anxious, but in the end, if you practice every day 1 or 3 minutes, it will decrease your overall because it will make the energy flow. That anxiety is a lot of accumulated energy. So for the upcoming days, those are great tools for you to use. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer. I guess watch this video again if you have, if you just want to check it out and do it again Sunday and Monday, and move it. I know you guys stay hours and hours in the chairs for long hours, but we have to start moving, giving breaks, 10 minutes breaks, right, during the day to get the energy moving around and not being stuck, because stuck energy causes physical pain. Okay, so thank you again for watching. I hope to see you soon next month, and have a great weekend. And let's just bring the hands here and take a long deep breath through the nose and exhale. And I hope to see you soon. Have a great weekend. Sat Nam.